There's a 34-year-old chimpanzee named Kanzi that not only knows how to start a fire and cook food, but knows how to make omelets for himself. In 2013, in Belo Horizonte, Brazil, construction workers permanently cemented a truck into a sidewalk after the owner refused to move it. China produces the most pollution in the world, contributing 30% of all the country's total. These come from coal, oil, and natural gases. Pigs are physically incapable to look up into the sky. On the planet Venus, it snows metal. Cats are one of the only animals that domesticate themselves and approach humans on their own terms. Even after 6 hours of dying, a person's muscles continue to spasm periodically. Anything that melts can be made into glass. However, there will be molten residue stuck to it. 4 American presidents have been killed by gunshot. A newborn baby has about 1 cup of blood in their entire body. The most powerful organism is the gonorrhea bacteria, which can pull up to 100,000 times their size. Amazon is the first company to ever hit $1 trillion. There is an ancient book called the Voynich from the Italian Renaissance that no one can read. There's a vending machine in Singapore that dispenses a Coke to anybody that hugs it. Most cats don't like to drink water if it's too close to their food source. Always keep your cat's water and food supply separate so they don't get dehydrated. Animal Planet aired a fake documentary about the existence of mermaids that convinced thousands of viewers twice, once in 2012 and once in 2013. As of 2019, the largest yacht in the world, named Azam, is 590 feet long, the length of 2 football fields, and cost $600 million to build. It was created in 2013, taking 4 years to construct, and beat the previous world record by a full 57 feet. It has 94,000 horsepower and can go up to 37 miles 60 km per hour, the fastest speed for a yacht longer than 300 feet. A Mexican artist created an underwater sculpture series that double as art and in an artificial reef. Johnny Depp has a passion for playing guitar, playing with artists such as Marilyn Manson, Oasis, Aerosmith, and Eddie Vedder. The life expectancy in ancient Rome was only 20 to 30 years. In 2008, a Japanese man noticed that food in his home was disappearing, so he set up a webcam and discovered that a 58-year-old homeless woman was living in his closet for an entire year. In the movie The Matrix, Neo's passport expires on September 11, 2001. There is a company called Hoxton Street Monster Supplies that sells salt made from real human tears, and disturbingly, there are 4 kinds, harvested from different moments: sneezing, chopping onions, laughter, and anger. -40 Celsius and -40 Fahrenheit are the same temperature. Yellow snow isn't the only snow you shouldn't eat. According to a new study published in the Journal of Environmental Science Processes and Impacts, all snow can be harmful because it attracts particles from car exhaust fumes like a magnet. There's a flower called the corpse flower, which is called that because it smells like putrefying and decaying flesh, which only blooms every 7 to 10 years. Robert Hubbard was executed in 1666 for starting the Great Fire of London by claiming he threw a firebomb through a bakery window. However, this was despite the fact that he was heavily crippled, the bakery had no windows, and it was proved at his trial that he wasn't even in the country at the time. Ravens are one of the smartest animals on Earth. They actually try to hide their food from each other, but are only sometimes successful because they're all so smart. A poisonous lagoon at the quarry in Buxton, England was dyed black for safety. The previous beautiful azure blue watercolor was so inviting that the signs did not keep swimmers out. There is a phenomenon that exists called cellular memory. It occurs when organ transplant recipients experience the same thoughts and cravings as their organ donors. The New York Presbyterian Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital has a CT scan room that has been turned into a pirate-themed island. Children enter the room by walking on a plank and then lay on a boat-shaped table. In order to advertise their services, prostitutes in ancient Greece wore sandals that left the words "Follow me" imprinted in the dirt as they walked. Frenchman, Max Hervé Georges, has an insurance policy that lets him trade stocks based on last week's prices. It's been called the stupidest contract ever signed and may end up with him owning the insurance company. During his time as a congressman and later the US president, John F. Kennedy donated all of his salaries to charity. During the Greece's fight for independence in 1826-27, a Turkish garrison in Acropolis was besieged by Greek fighters. When the Turks ran low on bullets, they began to cut the marble columns to use the lead within as bullets. The Greeks sent them ammunition, saying, "Here are bullets, don't touch the columns." Big pen caps have a hole at the top to reduce the risk of suffocation if accidentally inhaled. Del the Funky Homo Sapien wrote the verse for the Gorillaz song Clint Eastwood by following the instructions from the book How to Write a Hit Record. The oldest recorded British joke dates back to the 10th century AD. It is what hangs at a man's thigh and wants to poke the hole that it's often poked before. Answer: a key. On July 1, 1916, at the Battle of the Somme, a charge of 60,000 pounds of explosives was detonated, creating a crater that was 300 feet across and 90 feet deep. The explosion, which occurred in France, was heard as far away as London and was the loudest man-made sound in history at the time. Murphy's Law is an intentional misspelling of Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law states that anything written to criticize the spelling or proofreading of others will ironically contain editing mistakes as well. Professional porn censors in China get paid to watch over 150 pornographic DVDs each week, start to finish. In 2006, a Norwegian coach gave a ski pole to a Canadian skier, allowing her to go on to win a silver medal. Canadian citizens were so touched by this that they collectively gave him 5.2 tons of maple syrup. Jules Verne wrote the novel Paris in the 20th century back in 1863 and described a world of glass skyscrapers, high-speed trains, gas-powered automobiles, calculators, and a worldwide communications network. Before Nazis used the salute that is now commonly referred to as the Hitler salute, Americans did it while saying the Pledge of Allegiance. Ben Affleck dropped out of college after his creative writing teacher ridiculed an early draft of the Good Will Hunting screenplay. Charlie Sheen reached a settlement with Warner Bros. And was paid for not doing 2.5 Men. In 2008, a beach was stolen in Jamaica. About 500 truckloads of sand remain missing to this very day. 20,000 leagues below sea level would put you through the Earth and almost 20% of the way to the Moon's orbit. 20,000 leagues under the sea refers to the distance traveled while underwater, not the depth reached. A 12 ounces can of Coca-Cola has 46 milligrams of caffeine, a central nervous system stimulant. A cup of coffee has 60150 mg of caffeine. Acetylsalicylic acid aspirin was first synthesized by Felix Hoffmann in 1897. The brain of the bottlenose dolphin weighs about 1,500 grams. Americans consume about 45 million pounds of caffeine each year. The absolute threshold in humans for vision is a candle flame, 30 miles away, on a dark, clear night. An eagle can see a rabbit from 3 miles away. The iris is the circular band of muscles that controls the size of the pupil in the eye and gives color to the eye. The iris was named after the mythological character Iris, the Greek goddess of the rainbow.